understand as a player how much you're willing to sacrifice, how much you're really willing to work, because once you are successful, he's going to make it fun. And it's up to the players to understand that and have the same goal. When he talks about all in, when I played, we were all in. And when we weren't winning. I think if the people around here that remembers the Bickering Bills remember the times that we struggled and when we were all trying to be individuals. You can't be that way. You have to be all in. And that's one of the things we built back then that we'd love for them to start building around here, because we know when everybody has a same goal, when everybody understands each other's work ethic and you're willing to make sacrifices, that's when things start falling in place.
Thurman said that Rex reminded him a lot of Marv Levy, and that he could have a conversation with anybody. He was that kind of personable person. Is that what you see in Rex, and is that what the Bills need?
I'll be honest with you, I never really saw anything of Marv and Rex, but Thurman has a different way of looking at things sometimes, and I love the guy. That's probably why. But I just know, talking and listening to players that have been around Rex and how his mentality is and how blue-collar he is and how much he's willing to talk and let people talk to him on what their feelings are and what they're thinking. You gotta love that. There's some people and some coaches that probably the egos get a little bit too high. Rex is one of those guys where he opens up and he's willing to leave his door open. I know it's no cliche, but when you have a coach where you can talk to, and you talk to not only as a friend, but when you respect him and when you're able to get around him, it rubs off on you.
Jim, it's kind of a new era here with the Padulas and Rex Ryan and everything. You know, when you're ready, is there a place for you here?
Oh, I don't know about that. Number one, I'm not looking to do any coaching. I think everybody pretty much knows that.
Even whether it's just with the organization.
Yeah, I'm hopefully in short time I'll be sitting down with Terry and talking with him. I've already talked to Rex about a few of my ideas, but right now he needs to settle in. He's got to understand who his staff is, and yeah, of course I'd like to give my 2 cents where I feel it's needed, whether it's the quarterback position or whether it's a wide receiver position, two positions that I feel is my strong points. But again, he's putting his staff together, and I would love to sit down and say, you know, this is good, this is bad, because I am an armchair quarterback to a certain point. I don't look at the game like a typical fan does. I don't follow the ball. I follow what the receivers do if they're being bumped. I follow what coverage it is. I follow when the linebackers are blitzing and we're rotating where the quarterback should be looking. I look at the game completely different than your average fan. I look at it as a quarterback, and if they want my input, I'm here for it. But bottom line is, Russ and Doug are doing a good job getting this together, and then it comes down to how comfortable Rex feels.
If you're a player on this team, Jim, and you're listening to what Rex has said today about how we're going to be the bullies, we're not going to be pushed around, how excited are you to get working with this guy?
Well, as soon as I heard that he was going to become the head coach, I was automatically excited. And you know what drives me crazy sometimes is when they look at what he's done with the Jets. And I know he answered to a certain point, but we need to find out if EJ's going to be the guy. I don't care who you are. You can be Don Shula, you can be Marv Levy, you can be Vince Lombardi. You know, if you don't have a guy behind the center, you're not going anywhere. Period. You look at all the guys that are, all the teams that are in the playoffs now. Look who's behind the center. And do I think EJ has a chance? I don't know, because of you know what he has learned when he was on the sidelines, how much he got out of being on the sidelines, watching Kyle's positives and the negatives of how he played. So, for me, it's an opportunity everybody's going to have, but that's a position definitely they have to get solidified and find out who that guy's going to be.
Talk about that fan hope. You had a beer with them last night. He's got quite the personality, the Jets tattoo on his arm. How does he contribute to that here for fans?
Boy, it's so hard. I'm hard of hearing, so I didn't hear all that.
I'm sorry. Can you talk about, they mentioned it at the press conference, fan hope, what he's doing for fans here. He's got quite a personality. He's got that big Jets tattoo on his arm. You know, how important is that here for the fans, not so much the team?
Well, everybody knows how passionate Buffalo Bill fans are. I came from Pittsburgh. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so I know how the Steelers were. And when I got here, it was almost like it felt good because the blue collar people that come here, you know, they work their tail off to buy season tickets here. And you just listen to Rex, and he rubs off like he's one of us already. I mean, you can probably sense that as media, that he wants to win, and he's not going to be pushed around, and that's what you want. And I think anybody in Buffalo, when anything negative is said about our community, we get mad. And when you start talking about people pushing you around, that's when you step forward and do something about it. And Rex is the type that I feel we need. I felt that way a little bit, to be honest with you, about Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone was the exact same way. He don't want to be pushed around either. But of all the guys, of course, you know, I look back, all the people they interviewed, of course, my guy, Frank Reich, it would have been nice to have some part. But when they went through the whole interview process, people, you know, were asking me, what about this, what about that? The bottom line is, I'm not in the meetings. I wasn't in those. And if Doug Whaley and Russ and Kim and Terry decide this is who we go with, I'm all aboard, especially when it's a guy I already knew, and I've heard so much from other players and other people that know him personally, what kind of coach he is. That's the guy I'd want to play for.
Jim, to that end, how important is it to bring in a guy who wants to be here? Money aside in that, who wants to be here?
And the bottom line with that one is, you can tell he wants to be here. It's not just blown smoke. You talk to him, whether it's in front of the mic, behind the mic, off to the side, his passion is winning. His passion is rallying people around him and getting people excited. Buffalo fans, Buffalo media, we all want to be excited. We all want to play in January. That's my goal. I don't care. You can say anything about, you know, stats here, stats here. The bottom line is, are we going to be playing in January? But I want to be playing in the Ralph in January. I don't want to be playing somewhere else. We can make the playoffs, but I want to be playing right here to give our fans something that we haven't had here in a long time, and that's playing at home.
Thank you. Given Rex's reputation as a player's coach, just from people you've spoken to, how is he able to establish that connection and bond with his players?
I think just being himself. He's not a phony. He's going to tell it like it is, and I think the media and players, along with that, see it in him. What he says, he backs up. And when you're a player, you want to have somebody that when there's things that you have on your mind, you can come talk to. Rex is one of those guys that you will be able to do that. I've never been under him, you know, obviously, but I've known players and I've talked to, like, you know, you listen to Michael Irvin, you listen to Chris Carter, you listen to Merrill Hodge, you listen to all the guys that are former players, how much everybody respects him as a coach and a person that I'm not sure there's not a lot of players out there that wouldn't want to play for him. I think most players probably would.